we could run through is the team of people you might need to do as an owner builder to get council approval, right? Because it's about assembling your team as an owner builder, because no council is going to listen to you unless you've got a couple people kind of saying, yeah, this is legit.
I think we should pull that apart.
Let's do it.
So what do you mean by council approval? Yeah, because really what council are involved with, what state are you in? In Victoria. So it's pretty typical, but in Victoria, the council will be involved with things like, can you get a planning approval to use the property for a dwelling? And they'll be looking at things like how many trees you're cutting down, how much excavation do you need to do, and does a septic system fit onto the property that is going to actually not cause a problem. Their council will not be interested, they have zero interest in natural building materials. It doesn't come up, it doesn't come up on the planning or development radar what materials you're using for building. Where most of these issues, this is fun. Should we do a walking talk and go further away? Where most of these issues come up is in the certifying or the building permit stage, which is what he does. And so it's really important to pull those things apart, because there's a lot of fear that people have with building and doing something different, that they're going to have a council problem. But the real issue is they're either going to have an engineering problem or they're going to have a certifying problem, and we can talk a lot more about that.
A little story I'd like to share with you with my earthship that was approved back in 2013, so it's a while ago now. It was the first council approved earthship in Australia, and people told me it could never happen, and I sort of believed that for a while, and then I thought, no, I'll just go ahead and try. And what I discovered is that because we have a national construction code it's called sort of performance-based, as long as you can demonstrate that the building materials you're proposing sort of perform in a certain way, and that's where this guy comes in to write what's called a performance solution, which is just a fancy name for a report that says, you know, there's a group of experts who think that building with car tyres or beer bottles is actually going to be waterproof and fireproof and mold proof and blah, 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 termite proof, then you've got a goer. You can go build that, you can get council approval. So there are some sort of sneaky ways to do kind of whatever you want. But what Alvin was mentioning before was like, can we get it to be a whole lot easier so that you don't have to hose a lot of money, sorry Banjo, on performance solution reports. Banjo actually makes his freely available. Once he's written one, it's out there in the public domain, so, because you know, he's already written it, so he can recycle that very efficiently and effectively. But yeah, Alvin's proposal to sort of get these natural building materials as a what's called a deemed to satisfy solution, that's like a ticker box, really easy. It's like if you're building with, you know, bricks or timber or something like that.
Yeah. So, and I think we've touched on, I'm going to do some summarizing as we go. So for those owner builders out there, you got to get past 3 levels of legislation. You got to get past your council, and that'll be your planning permit, which again, it's not actually about what the building is. It's just the site cuts, where the septic is, where you're going to cut into the land, where the roads are going to go. So that's step A, is your planning permit. Then you're going to have to get your building permit, and you can either get that from the council or you can get it from a private surveyor. Council's going to take you a lot longer. You'll have to wait a long time, maybe do a couple iterations. A private surveyor will usually work with you to get it done quicker. And then, so then you'll also then at that stage have to deal with state regulations, which in Victoria is the VBA, and them justifying it and inspecting it. And that's then checked against the national code, which is the National Construction Code. So you got to get it past federal, National Construction Code, state, which is the VBA, and local, which is your local council. So those are the 3 levels from planning permit, building permit, inspections, occupancy permit. Those are the things you have to cross. Yep.